Hi, my name is Laci Strickland, and I'm the coordinator at the Fostering Hope House here in Muskogee. I moved to Muskogee about 7 years ago with my husband Randy and our 5 children, and I just recently began working for Fostering Hope within the Hope House. Almost immediately, once we opened the Fostering Hope House, it became really obvious that we were going to need a type of trauma training, not only for our staff, but for our volunteers. One of the ways that we've utilized our trauma training here at Fostering Hope is that we've put together some really practical ways that we can show the children that come into the Fostering Hope House that they're safe, that they're cared for, that they're loved. And so we have a whole sheet for our volunteers full of just really practical things. Like if we have a child that's just really been under a lot of stress and seems to be really anxious, we might sit them down and give them a tea party, and we might just say, okay, we're gonna blow on our cocoa and try to cool it down. And that's just gonna help them to regulate their breathing and to calm their bodies, but they're having fun, so they don't realize that we're trying to accomplish something with them, but instead they think they're just playing and having a good time. Meanwhile, we're using just techniques to calm their trauma in that moment. You know, I think a lot of people will see all of the advertisements for the summit, and your first instinct is to think that if you don't have a job, you know, like mine, where you're encountering foster children, or if you don't work at a church, if you don't work as a police officer, then you can just keep scrolling because that kind of training isn't for you. And one of the coolest things that I've learned since going through the training is that when I am at the park with my child and there's a kid that, you know, is shoving them off the slide, or just being really, you know, unkind in the way they're talking. Now that I've had this training, I almost recognize in them, this, you know, it's not a behavior thing. It seems like this kid's carrying around something hard. And so I'm so much more gentle in the way I could interact with them, with children in our nursery at church, as I volunteer, just, you know, a cashier at the grocery store you might encounter. And you might realize, wow, it seems like she's had a really hard day or something hard's going on, and you're going to be able to interact with her in a way where you're educated and in the best way to help her.